Stories making headlines on the front page of Nigerian newspapers. And I begin with the Nation newspaper. The major story here, federal government, $175 million investment in CNG to end reliance on petrol. 700 buses expected. Labour students, Federal Capital Territory get 64 to mark nation's independence. It's major step to fight inflation, says Edun. And the picture story there are those of showing some of the buses from yesterday, and the picture there from the left, Idris, Edun, Toro, Bagudu, Eminofe, and others. At the CNG fueled vehicles cost 1/3 of the petrol fueled vehicles. So instead of paying 50,000 naira to fill a tank, you'll be paying 15,000. That's what is being quoted as saying here. That event happened yesterday. Now, another story here. Leaders raise hope of brighter future. 64th Independence Church services in FCT states. Foreign investors' portfolios hit 5-year high at 655.5 billion naira. At the top corner there, 40% of electricity users now have 20 hours supply, says Adelabu. And police citing security in Lagos over October the 1st protest threat. NRC probes ticket racketeering in Abuja Kaduna service. Lion kills handler at Obasanjo Presidential Library Zoo. Those are some of the stories you find on the front page of the Nation newspaper. We'll move now to the front page of the Blueprint. Federal government hands over 64 CNG buses to NLC TUC NANS. That's the Nigeria Labour Congress, Trade Union Congress, as well as National Association of Nigerian Students. That event happened yesterday, and it's set to distribute 2,000 CNG tricycles to youth. It's a promise kept, says Information Minister. Police organizers dialogue over October the 1st protest. Federal government monitors to forestall chaos. Activists give conditions. And another story here, quickly. Constitution review. Senators unite on local government autonomy, differ on state police. Some stories on the front page of the Blueprint newspaper. To the Nigerian News Direct now. Federal government delivers 64 CNG buses to Labour student leaders amid rising fuel prices. And the riders there, Tinubu reiterates commitment to easing cost of living as unions express growing frustration over fuel hikes. And another story there, alleged 50 million naira bribe. Bobrisky slams 1 billion naira defamation suit on VDM. Some stories on the front page of the Nigerian News Direct. To the Daily Times now. More than 40% of Nigerians now enjoy 20 hours of power supply daily. That's what Adelabu is quoted as saying. Credits achievements in power sector to radical bold steps taken by Tinubu's administration. Oil theft. NNPC dismantles over 8,000 illegal refineries, 5,800 pipelines in 6 months. And federal government approves 350 billion naira to support dams, irrigation facilities. A minister is quoted as saying that. Prioritizing local value addition key to Africa's industrialization. Alake is quoted as saying that. Now, another story here. Federal government has over 64 CNG buses to labor unions. NANS says initiative aims to alleviate burdens on the poor and vulnerable. And the downstrip, troops foil ISWAP insurgents attack, recover weapons in Borno. Those are some of the stories you find on the front page of the Daily Times. To the Punch newspaper, October the 1st protest. Police man flashpoints, APC opposition clash. State police commands deploy teams. Organizers insist on rally as PDP Labour Party berate APC. And Nigeria at 64, Obasanjo, Akpabio, the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Service Chiefs Great Thanksgiving Service, and that's the picture story there. Now, federal government raises teams to avert ASU strike. Police begin probe as lion kills keeper in Obasanjo Library. Another story at the top corner there. Cameroon Dam, NEMA crew monitors Niger Benue rivers. Naira for crude deal begins Tuesday. That's what the panel is saying. 17 governors raise minimum wage panels. Some stories on the front page of the Punch newspaper. To the leadership newspaper now, still talking about October the 1st protest. To hold dialogue with protesters now, CSOs tell Tinubu. Varsity students oppose plan. Police assure of adequate security. Federal government distributes 64 CNG buses to workers, students. And another story here. Port Harcourt refinery defies deadline. Experts arrive from Italy. Lawyers unveil AI tool for legal practice. Interesting. Now, Ways and Means provide actual figures, experts tell CBN. All right, those are some of the stories you find on the front page of the leadership newspaper. And to this Nigeria newspaper now. Hard times, parents groan over rise in school fees, transport. Seek loans, help from religious bodies to meet obligations. Pressure shifts to public schools. On the 64th independence, our brightest days ahead, says federal government. NIMET predicts 3 days thunderstorm from Monday in Federal Capital Territory and 24 states. And in the May, Nigeria's electoral process complicated, allows manipulation. Those are some stories on the front page of this Nigerian newspaper. To the Inquirer now. Nigeria at 64, no cheers, only despair. That Nigerians are quoted as saying that federal government Murik won against protests. No going back, says organizers. At the top corner there, no respite for FCT public school pupils as teachers strike linger. Some stories on the front page of the Inquirer. Kemi.
On the platform Times, the lead story is captioned Nigerians abroad contribute $20 billion annually deserve to vote, says experts. You can get details there. Other stories there read thus: Fubara fires back at Wike with a quote from the governor, empty containers make the loudest noise. Government borrowing jumps by 11 trillion in August, sparking debt crisis fears. All this and more are on the front page of the Platform Times. On the Nigerian Tribune, state creation police top agenda as senators begin retreat on new constitution. State police in line with global practice, those against it are playing the ostrich, says Senate leader. Southeast, South governors also demand new states. Edo election further exposes INEC's incompetence, says Afeni Ferry. China prepared to lend more. FG not discussing debt forgiveness with Beijing. Minister is saying that Nigeria to save 5.4 trillion naira from subsidy removal in 2024. Dakwa Abiodun, governor of Ogun State, is quoted. Daily Trust says residents, Nigerian Air Force disagree as airstrike kills scores. In Kaduna, 23 worshippers among victims, state governments reportedly silent, and the Air Force is quoted as saying we only hit terrorist space. Heart diseases spike, fuel sudden deaths in Nigeria, with experts identifying causes and proffering solution. Uncertainty in Rivers PDP as Fubara's allies defects to APP. These and more on Daily Trust. On Daily News Hub, still in the fallout of the Edo governorship election, Governor Obaseki and wife are set to have jet out of Nigeria, flee to Venice. Governor proceeds on terminal leave, hands over state affairs to Secretary to the state government and directs him to prepare and submit handover notes to the governor-elect in November. On Rivers crisis, I can't give my kidneys, liver to remain governor, says Fubara. APGA records landslide in Anambra local government poll. Next is First News. EFCC bribery claims is the biggest story here. Very dark man to appear before National Assembly this Monday as Bobrisky sues social media influencer demanding 1 billion naira. Without Wike, I will not be Minister of Petroleum. Heineken Lokobiri is saying. Senator Ali Ndume is also quoted as saying that Nigeria's electoral process is designed for manipulation. Makinde pleads with Wike, please don't put fire in Oyo. Silent Times says 7.7 million barrels of crude oil stolen from Nigeria in 2023. That's revealed in a report, which also represents a 79% decline from 36.69 million barrels, either stolen or lost in 2022. All the details are here. You can check them out. Boy, 8-year-old boy dies after being shot inside farm. And why kidnapping persists despite NIN SIM linkage. Former Minister Pantami is speaking here. Daily Independent now. Naira devaluation floating. Put FG's $1 trillion economy target at risk. LG poll. Court orders Rivers State Independent Electoral Commission to use 2023 voters register. And Tinubu hands over 64 CNG buses to organized labor as well as the national body of Nigerian students. National economy is next. Nigeria loses $86 billion annually as indigenous capacity dwindles. Also, Nigeria's approved loan apps rise to 320 amid demand. From the NBS, that's the Bureau of Statistics, only 26% of Nigerian workers have pension health insurance. Nature News has this big story here captioned, bottled water contains cancer-linked chemicals. Researchers warn. That's a concerning one. You can get details there. Nigeria to host ECOWAS Food and Cultural Festival in Uyo. Kwara government sets to upskill livestock sector. Trains 100 extension workers. Finally is the Nation Sporting Life, which says Chukwueze could leave Milan in January as Villa Atletico Madrid keen to sign Nigerian. Man United 0, Tottenham 3. Spurs crush woeful Red Devils. Fernandez sees red. And Ekong scores first goal in Saudi Arabia. That's it for me. Yeah.
I believe that our viewers have been updated and that they can get any of the papers for stories that interest them to get more details. We'll be moving forward now. Still to come on TVC Breakfast.